It's an ambitious and fascinating project. Fairfield, Illinois native David Wells is launching a funding campaign to finance a documentary film on the violent history of Southern Illinois from Prohibition through the 1940s. The title of the film, Bloody Little Egypt. And here to tell us more about this project, we're joined by the owner of dkWells Production, David Wells. David, great to have you with us. You grew up with this lore and history. How'd you get, you've been working on this a long time. How did it get started and why?
Well, I really always was fascinated with it. Like you said, I was raised with it. I had family members who had run-ins with the Shelton Gang and the Burger Gang and Blackie Harris.
And these were not nice people.
No, these were people you did not want to tick off. And so I always was fascinated by the stories, but then as you grow older, you always heard about Al Capone, you'd hear about other gangs, you'd hear about other things that happened, but why is this not known? I mean, it was because they really rivaled Al Capone for that whole area.
And why the title, Bloody Little Egypt? What do you mean by Little Egypt?
Well, when you're from Southern Illinois, everybody knows that it's called Little Egypt. That's a kind of colloquialism that is brought up there. It started in the early 1800s.
Omaha, Enfield, Norris City?
Cairo.
Cairo. Okay.
Borderline of where the Mississippi and Ohio converges. And that was a big grain shipping lane, and so they decided to call it Little Egypt.
There used to be a Little Egypt conference.
Yeah, and I was in that sports conference.
There you go.
They have changed that since, but Fairfield, Olney, Mount Carmel, Carmi, some of those cities were in the Little Egyptian conference.
Now, what's the purpose? What do you hope to do with the film?
Well, initially is really to, I mean, there's been several books written, some specifically on the Shelton, some on the Burgers, some on just Blackie Harris, some that encompasses the whole story. But nobody's ever really put it to video or film or really get the word out. Now, when I was younger and I'd go up to Chicago and I'd say I'm from Fairfield, Illinois, the people automatically knew, oh yeah, the Shelton Gang or the Burger Gang or Blackie Harris. So it was well known in Illinois, but outside of that, not. And actually, I got really inspired to get serious about it after the Boardwalk Empire miniseries came on. And I thought, well, because it was based loosely on a historical gang and Nucky Thompson and his gang. And I thought, hey, they can do it, I can do it.
Has it been tough? Have you had any roadblocks doing research?
Research has been tough because there's always so many stories. You got to really, because this is going to be a documentary, I have to be factual.
Right.
And so there's a lot of stories that cannot be backed up, whether that be lack of evidence, which was purposely done, or just stories made up, because it became like a Robin Hood story, really. I mean, the Shelton Gang would make all this money on bootlegging, prostitution, gambling, but then they would turn around, and this was during, as pre-Depression and into the Depression, they would go in and take money and give it to families to help them pay their bills. So they were good PR people.
Good PR, but generally not good people. Hey, we're back with David Wells talking about Bloody Little Egypt after this.